Hey guys, what's going on, Greenville Gear? Hope you all are well, and thanks as always for tuning into the channel. I always appreciate it, and big day today because it is tuxedo time, and I've got an SGC order back, 6 cards, and this is big for me. I don't, get to grade as much as I would like. Of course, the costs for grading are high, and so I get a card here or there and set it aside, and then I do it all together because of shipping and all that kind of stuff. So 6 cards, they're all T206 cards. Here they are. So if you like tobacco cards, then this is the video for you. And 2 of them are fresh new grades, 2 of them are reholders, and 2 of them are crackouts from other holders. And so I'll tell you about each one as we get into it. So just a couple of details about the order in a very Greenville Gear way. Of course, this channel is very analog. Some people have windows pop up and graphics. I think that's great. I love videos like that. I don't know how to do that. So I sent this on April 3rd, 2022, and I got them back April 26th. And so I think that was pretty quick, and I was happy with that. Just so a few weeks, and door to door. And SGC just continues to kill it on their timeline and their turnaround, and I'm just, as a collector, grateful. So way to go, SGC. So let's get into the cards, and I'll show you the first one. I opened the box and all that and looked at the grades, so it's not necessarily a blind reveal, but also I don't have the patience to wait. When they send you the email, I look at the grades. So the first card is this card. And this is a Charlie Starr. This card has kind of haunted me. I've owned a couple Charlie Starrs in my life of varying grades, and this was actually one of the crackouts that I did. And so I had picked this one up on eBay in a GAI 3. There it is. So I took the old snips and took it out of this old case. GAI, not the most reliable grader, perhaps. But I thought, oh, I can get this one kind of cheap. So I got this as a GAI 3. I didn't know how it would come back necessarily. I definitely noticed, some staining and all this kind of stuff. It looks like a pretty normal, lower grade T206 card. There's the back. More like staining and that kind of stuff. So I sent it to SGC, which I prefer to have all my T206 cards either at a PSA or SGC holder. I'm not particular about which, but I just like it to be in one of those two. So I sent it off, and they sent it and graded it as a 2.5. So it went from a GAI 3, again, as I mentioned, to an SGC 2.5, which feels about right. So no beef there. So first crack out, it actually was downgraded, but don't care about that. Wanted it in the SGC holder, and so that was the first card. So happy about that. The next card was a raw grade that I had. A really nice family friend had a big stack, and the video is somewhere in my archive if you want to watch it. They had a stack of old cards from their dad and wanted me to look at them and kind of assess the collection. Well, anyway, in there were a couple of T206 cards, and this was one of the 2. And they just said, you know what, you can have a couple of those. And so it was kind of my reward for going through the collection and organizing it and assessing it and so on. So this one, Fred Burchell, is a Piedmont back. This was a raw grade, and I figured it was probably going to be in that range. I like my cards in my collection to have good eye appeal first and foremost. I don't buy the grade necessarily, but 2.5 to 3 minimum. And so this one came back a 3. So it was cool. It was nice to get a good grade on a raw T206 card, so I was happy about that. And so now it's slabbed, and it was just literally in a sleeve, so that was cool. And then the second card that they were kind enough to gift me was this card, Guy White, from the White Sox. And you can see right away on this card, it's got a scratch basically there, but otherwise the eye appeal on this one's great. Love the color. The orange yellow looks nice. There's the Piedmont back. So this is the other one. I actually thought this one of the 2 raw grades would be the higher one, but the scratch probably evens things out. So this is Doc White, and it came back a 2.5, so same grade. And, or actually, no, a little lower. And so just a slightly lower grade at a 2.5. Still keeping this card, love it, love the eye appeal of it, and feel fortunate to have it in my collection. Doc White is an interesting character, by the way. He was a dentist, and so he went to dental school and then practiced dentistry like in the off season and stuff. So I think that's kind of cool as well. So anyway, the Doc White came back as a raw grade 2.5. Okay. The next one was a reholder. It was I had picked it up, and I think I've shown it on the channel. But this is a Jake Stahl, who was a pretty big bat. And folks feared him as a hitter. This card, you can tell, has got some staining and some wear and not great centering, and it's just kind of dirty. It's a sweet cap back. But it was already an SGC holder at this grade, and so I had it just reholdered in a current flip, and it got an SGC 4. I think it's probably overgraded if you just look at it. But it was already in a 4 holder, so I knew it was going to be a 4. So there's the Jake Stahl. It's my first Jake Stahl, so excited about that. And the other reholder that I had was this one. This one's a little sharper. And so this is a Shad Berry from Milwaukee. Nice centering, kind of sharper corners. A little bit of staining on the back here. Piedmont 350. And this was already in an SGC holder, but an old holder, so I wanted to put it in with the order. And that's part of what I like about doing these projects is, okay, I'll buy a T206 here and there, and then over 3 or 4 months, and I've got enough to send off in a 6-card order. So here's Shad Berry, and this came back as a 5, which is, of course, what it was, a 5 before that. So it's actually then, that I think makes it one of my higher graded SGC cards, if I'm not mistaken, in my T206 collection. So there is Shad Berry in an SGC 5. Nice looking card. Nice eye appeal. Neat. And then the last one was the last crackout. And it is this guy, Patsy Dougherty. Patsy Dougherty. Interesting, character. Apparently was kind of a scrapper, fought a lot. Just kind of a colorful character. But I loved this card, and this one is the other crackout in this order. And so it was in a BGS 4.5. So I cracked it out of the BGS case, and sweet cap back. 4.5, very good to excellent according to BGS. So you can see it's got great eye appeal, and it just is nicely centered. That upper right corner isn't great, but just really a nice looking centered card. It is a little tilted, I think. And if you look closely, you can kind of see that. There's the back. And so, again, the printing is just off a little bit. So sent this one off to SGC after I took it out of the BGS holder. Again, it was a 4.5, came back from SGC as a 4. And that's okay. I didn't want it in a BGS holder. I think the T206 cards just look great in the SGC black holder. And I was all okay with that. So I wanted it consistent with the rest of my collection. And so Patsy Dougherty came back as a 4. So those are the 6 SGC cards that came back. I've got to, and eventually I'll do a video on this. I made myself a spreadsheet, which I've never had for collecting cards, but I did want to track which SGC cards I have and start to input some data and all that kind of stuff about the cards, not prices or anything like that, but just maybe the grade that they had, what kind of holder they're in, the player team, all that kind of stuff. So I think this order coming back now puts me over 50 T206 cards, which is kind of a cool milestone. So that's that. Thanks as always for watching the video. This was a lot of fun to do. I wanted to show it to you for a while. I knew it was in the works, and so hopefully in 6 months or a year, I'll have another SGC video with a similar number of T206 cards. But hope you all are well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.